Good morning, everyone. First of all, welcome back. I, I want to hope actually, that you all are enjoying your morning thus far. Um, and that said, again, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, if you click on the username and go to the channel page, scroll down to number 68, you'll see a short and a long version of the purpose of this channel and what we're all about. For those of you who are not new and you've been here and you understand what it is that we're doing and taking care of, then welcome back. Once again, this is a beautiful day that our Father has made. I want to go over real quick for those of you that are having withdrawals about what it is that I shared in the last video. So the questions are, what is this about? And what is it that's coming up? And is there a need for a username or to set up a new account? Why is it that we're being asked to set up an anonymous account? And let me just make sure that everyone understands. First and foremost, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. My name is Brother Lewis. I'm with the United House of Prayer for All People, and we've been making videos pertaining to corruption and leadership. That said, I put out a video on yesterday asking for all of the members of the organization, the United House of Prayer for All People, past members, current members, members that are no longer participating or attending, members who are participating and attending. The only stipulation is that you're 16 years of age or over, and that is so that we can ensure that you're going to be able to understand the information that we're going to cover. So first and foremost, this is for everyone, everybody in leadership, everybody who's not, from the head of the organization all the way down to a new joiner. Everybody who's been in the organization, who may have, for whatever reason, put your membership on pause, your attendance is on pause. And let me say this too, if you have not written a letter to expressly share with anyone whatsoever within the organization that you choose to remove your membership from the organization, then you're still a member. And it's important that you understand this because the leaders of the organization, they want anybody who is not in support of what Mr. Cunningham is doing and the leaders around him. If you don't agree with how they're doing things, if you do not agree with what's going on within the organization, they want you to be gone. They want not only for you to be gone, they want your membership also gone. I'm encouraging everyone to not remove your membership. You can have your name there. Your name on membership, on roll, does not mean you support what it is that's being done. It does not mean that you support the leadership. It does not mean that you support the organization's direction, the trajectory of what it is that's going on right now. It does not mean any of those things whatsoever. It simply means that you have an interest in the dealings, the transactions, the management, as well as the operations of the organization. So many of you may be affiliated or have joined a subscription for many things. But you understand that simply because you're a member and you have a subscription does not necessarily mean that you support everything that that particular agency or organization believes in. That said, once again, if you've not written a letter, you're still a member. What that means is all of the perks, all of the benefits, all of the things that's going to be coming down the road for the organization you will still be a part of. You will still benefit from. You will still be an individual that has not only rights, and those benefits, but being a member also means you have some say. You have say so in any matter that involves the membership. You have say so over the business of the organization. You have say so over the direction of the organization. You have a hand in it. And your membership gives you the right to have discussions about whether you like the direction of the organization or whether you don't like the direction of the organization. So with all of that in mind, it needs to be understood. Just because you have not attended for a while, just because you're not participating and you're not going, does not mean that you are not a member. That was one. Two, it is absolutely essential, not only that we understand that a member may not necessarily be attending, a member may not necessarily be contributing financially, a member may not necessarily be participating. It does not take away from that individual being a member. And as such, that individual still has say-so over anything whatsoever that involves the members and the body, the collective body of the organization. Mr. Cunningham, as well as the other men around him, they've been doing their best to try to ensure that individuals look at other members who may not be attending, who may not be participating, who may not be contributing. They're doing everything they can to try to give the impression that they are no longer members of the organization. There is no law whatsoever anywhere that says that a member of the organization must be in attendance. There's no law that says that member must be contributing. There's no law that says that member must be actively participating in any of the programs. There is no law. So yes, you can be a member and not attend, not contribute, and not participate. So I have maintained for those members to stand by and be available when we are needing your attention so that we can change the direction and the scope of where this organization is going. Third, and the second portion of that was that Mr. Cunningham and those around him, they're desiring to try to write a narrative that if you're not attending, that you're no longer a member. That's the second point I wanted to make, and that's simply not true. Third point, is it necessary to create an anonymous account? No, it's not necessary at all. You can use an account if you already have an account set up. And by an account, I mean any email username. If you have an account with Yahoo, yahoo.com, hotmail.com, outlook.com, Google, Gmail, which is Google, gmail.com. If you have an account with any of those platforms, by all means, yes, you can use them. However, it would be better if you create another account. It's been brought to my attention that some of you cannot create an anonymous account. And by anonymous, I don't mean making sure that your personal information is not attached to your account. I simply mean creating a username that does not have anything that can draw attention back to who you are just by looking at the name. When you open up an account, it's going to ask information, birth date, phone number, address, such and such, things like that. You can put whatever you'd like to put. The only point that I'm making is that for all of the individuals that we're going to have join us in this meeting that we're going to be putting on. The hope is that no one is identifiable. Now, if you don't mind using, again, the username that you already have, then fine. No problem whatsoever. If you don't mind using something that you've had set up that's attached to your business, that's another question. No problem whatsoever. There will be no issues with any username that's going to be used. All we're going to be doing is making sure that the members and active and non-active that are ready, willing, and able to attend this meeting, that you actually have what you need to have set up to attend this meeting, which is one thing, a username, so that whenever information is sent forward with the details of that meeting, you can actually join in. And again, the purpose of setting up this account is so that when we have the meeting, you'll be able to join this meeting online. You will be able to join without having to sit in view of the councilmen, the pastors, the elders. There will be no one looking at you with an intent of trying to intimidate you. There will be no need for you to be worried, nervous, hesitant. There will be none of that. From the comfort of your home, sitting in your car, no matter where you are, in a library, there will be no reason for you whatsoever to be afraid of attending this meeting. So we're making it as simple and as easy for everyone to attend. The other question, why the anonymity? Why is it that we're asking as far as individuals to be anonymous? For those of you who don't care about your identity being known, then good, that's even better. We're going to look at, as well as look for, individuals who's going to be willing to stand up and stand out. Not caring who knows who you are, not caring who sees who you are. That is absolutely necessary down the road when changes come. But to do that today, it says a whole lot about that particular individual, their integrity and their character. We're not looking for individuals to put themselves in the front of people to do anything at all. All we're looking for the individuals to do is just continue watching the videos, pay attention to what's going on, listen to the information that's being offered, take notes if you have to so that you can fully understand this information, and then ask questions if there's a need for clarity or clarification. But the reason why we're asking to be anonymous is so that everybody, again, will not have this concern about who's going to see my username, who's going to know that I've attended this meeting, who's going to be aware, and what's going to happen in the event that the leaders find out. First of all, the leaders have no authority whatsoever. None. All of the leaders of the United House of Prayer for All People have been acting as if they have the authority of their offices. But since it has already been proven that they've violated all of the laws of the organization and that they are technically suspended from their positions, all they can do is act. And it doesn't matter how loud they are. It doesn't matter how much they flex their muscles. All they can do is act. There's nothing that they can tell anyone and expect them to obey or follow an order, even if it is something that you've previously agreed to, because they have already demonstrated by their examples that they're not willing to obey the laws of the organization. They're not willing to enforce the laws of the organization when it comes to one another. They're not willing to hold each other accountable to the laws of the organization. And furthermore, they've been breaking laws of the land. They're not even willing to obey, follow, adhere to, or hold each other accountable to the laws of the land. So if they're not following the laws of the land, if they're not following the laws of the organization, then what gives anyone the notion that you have to hear them? The only thing that they may attempt to do is to give the impression that they're going to strip you of something. And the only thing that they can strip is a title or a position. But if they strip you, you don't have that to worry about neither. Because when you look around in the house of prayer, all around the organization, you can see that people have put their membership on pause everywhere. Listen, no one wants to be affiliated with a group of people that's involving themselves in doing certain things to little children, to doing those things further to teenagers, to doing those things further to people behind closed doors that even may be of age, to influence and persuade them and use fear tactics to coax them into doing things that goes against their will, and then putting them into positions where they can't tell anyone because they're afraid that people might not believe them, or because of any other threats that might have been made, that we will do this, 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 and the other, if you open your mouth. These things have been going on for a very, very, very long time now. And it's now time to put all these things to stop. It's now time to call these individuals forward. It's now time to hold these individuals accountable. So with that in mind, we're getting ready to do what it is that we're getting ready to do. However, I have to make sure that all of our eggs are lined up in a row. The next step is for us to call a meeting. The next step is for us to invite everyone to that meeting. So since Mr. Cunningham has, I won't be insulting. I'm not going to insult him. I'm not going to belittle him. I'm not going to be offensive. But for whatever reason, people say that he's scared. People say that he's showing cowardice. He's hiding behind the members. Okay. But for whatever his reasons are, he has refused. The General Counsel has refused. The General Assembly Secretary has refused this entire time to call a meeting so that we can address the situation at hand, to uncover the fact that there has been many, many, many violations across the table committed by all of the leaders, starting with the bishop of the organization. They have never once made any effort to call forth a meeting so that the organization can deal with corruption all the way at the top. Not one leader has done anything. And it's now going on 3 years since I began to speak on these subjects and bring this to the members' attention of the organization. So now, Mr. Cunningham and the council have not only dug in, and Mrs. Madison, who could have instantaneously made sure that this whole thing was resolved by telling them to call forth a meeting. The problem has been, Mrs. Madison knows that if these men are removed from their positions, then she's not going to have any protections, since there's things that they're doing to protect the things that she's doing. The members of the organization have been defrauded, period. Been deceived, period. Been lied to, period. And all of these lies and deceptions and fraud are about to come forward. Now, this next step is for us to call this meeting and give them the opportunity to come forward in this meeting. Now, how can we do that if everybody's anonymous? Which is another question. It's not necessary to have them come forward yet. This first meeting will be to inform individuals of different things. This first meeting, one second. This first meeting will be to inform everyone who's present of some things so that we can go forward to do what's necessary to begin to clean up the organization. Before I say the last thing, another question was, what about those individuals who are skeptical and who may not want to be a part of anything yet because there's another way of fixing these problems? Well, what about reaching out and y'all having a meeting inside? Why is it that we are being asked to come forward? You're being asked to come forward to attend a meeting because if the people do not show that they are not in agreement with the direction of the organization, if the people do not show that they're not in support of the decisions and the choices being made by the leaders of the organization, if the people don't do anything whatsoever, then nothing will get done. And the organization will continue to go in the direction that it's been going in. Now, everyone needs to understand that this is not spiritual. This has nothing to do with what it is that they've been putting out. It has nothing to do with the servant of God being put on trial. Quite frankly, every leader in the house of prayer, they have rules that they must follow. Every single one. Interestingly enough, when Jesus himself was beckoned to come forward, he came forward. Why? Because he had nothing to hide. When the disciples later were also summoned to come forward, they too came forward. Why? They had nothing to hide. Incidentally, when any of those men in the scripture were asked to come forward, we can go back to John the Baptist. Prior to John the Baptist, all the way back, even to Abraham's day, when these men were called forward, they came forward. They had nothing to hide. Today, we're looking at every single leader within the United House of Prayer for All People, which are all not coming forward. Every single one of them turning a deaf ear to the members of the organization. Every single one of them turning a blind eye away from the members of the organization. The members no longer have any voice to ask questions, to bring forward any issues, or to discuss any matters of importance. We must fix this. There is no more choices in the matter. The leaders have shown everyone that they are not going to do anything whatsoever if they don't choose to. And now The members are at a point where you no longer have a choice but to stand up and say, no, we are not going to allow this. So that is the reason why the members are now being asked to come to the meeting. Now, I'm going to say this last thing before I say the very last thing. For those members that don't come to the meeting, it's not going to be a problem. You're only going to miss out on the things being presented in the meeting. For those of you thinking that no matter how small of the group is, out of tens of thousands of members of the House of Prayer, I think maybe 30,000 tops. Maybe. I could be wrong. Could be way higher than that. But when you look at the members in attendance, it looks nothing like that whatsoever around the country. I have said, and it has been confirmed time and time and time again, that I've said about 30 to 40% of the congregations don't have 10 to 15 members. Actually, it's more than that. Out of 137 congregations, the majority, over 50% of them now, are dealing with a strained congregation. And by strained, I mean the members that's carrying the load of the house, of the congregation. Those members are so few in number that now the pastors are complaining. And they're getting no help from the headquarters of the organization. But there's no surprise because the headquarters of the organization have never helped. Have they taken care of a matter here, there, or the other? Absolutely. But they've never helped. They've put their pastors in positions that are, quite frankly, impossible to deal with. The adverse effect of that is that they have to put the responsibility on the members. And this is where the problem lies. You have all these problems that nobody's fixing. And yet the leader wants the pastors to push the people to still give a lot of money. For that reason, people have taken a step back, because all week long, taking up offerings every single night. And that's the only reason why the members are being told, come out every night, as often as you can, because they're going to ask for that. Week after week after week, month after month, year after year. So I did not like talking about one of the pastors that the members already knew was dealing with some health conditions, as so many other pastors are. When we look at the pastors of the organization, you can see that they're dealing with a great deal of health conditions. Many of them don't look as if they're going to be here much longer. Still, there's been no help from headquarters. We just had a baptism 3 weeks ago, going on 4 now, in Newport News, Virginia. Expectations were high that Mr. Cunningham was going to come there and do something for one of them, only one of them, who's going through some very tough times because of the tremendous amounts of stress that he's been placed under month after month, year after year, and it just does not stop. Yet and still, Mr. Cunningham, the heads of the organization, even Mrs. Dolores Madison herself, did nothing whatsoever. The entire general council did nothing whatsoever for that man. They've done nothing for the other men. Nothing whatsoever. Even the fund that we call in the House of Prayer Grace Aid. This is another contribution that they ask from the people to contribute monies to go into a fund that's going to be held in order to give something, some financial assistance to those hardworking, loyal, faithful, dedicated men to the organization, pushing, teaching, indoctrination, of course, but still they were there. So when they get to a point they can't do anymore, they retire, the idea is this grace aid would be available like a type of Social Security for them to tap into. There's been many elders of the House of Prayer that stepped back. I can't do this any longer. When they saw corruption, whenever they were told to give a false report on something, when they were told to do something that they did not agree with, or whenever they simply got tired of the politics, they took a step back. Many of those men, they're not getting any grace aid. There's not a lot of men getting grace aid. And for the few men that are receiving grace aid, it's literally somewhere around $200, $250, $300 a month tops is what I've been told by individuals that actually receive it. $300 a month. That's what they get out of this billion-dollar organization where the funding is being asked of the people to contribute. So if you don't agree that there's changes that are necessary in the House of Prayer, especially given the fact that Mr. Cunningham has told the entire organization, if you're going to stay in the House of Prayer, you're going to follow Mr. Cunningham. He said this. You're going to be here, you're going to follow Cunningham. And then he said, Addie Cunningham at that. You're not going to follow me? He said, there's the door. Now, here's a problem with that statement. Mr. Cunningham can't put nobody out. But the people have all the authority to put him out of his position. The council has no authority to put anybody out. But the people have all the authority to put every single one of them out of their positions. And this is why they try to flex their muscle, because they need the members to feel at least that we got power, we have authority, when they have none. It's all a bluff. There is no power whatsoever that these men wield in the House of Prayer. So we need the people to attend the meeting so that we can make sure that we give information and allow you all to ask the questions that you need to ask and that you want to ask. And it'll be done in such a way that no one has to fear being known. So when you set up your accounts, use your information if you wish. We're fine with that. We are encouraging individuals to come up with a username that does not identify who you are, because we know that things are going to come up, other questions are going to come up, and at that time you might feel like I'm good now, but when we arrive to a certain point in the meeting, you might start thinking, shoot, I should have came up with an anonymous name so that I could have the freedom and the liberty to go ahead and say what I want to say. We're going to be talking about all this stuff down the road as well. But for now, we know that we're in a teaching phase. We know that we're in a training phase. Our members don't know a whole lot at all about the law. Our members don't know a whole lot about policy and procedures. Our members do not understand how the leaders of the organization has manipulated the Constitution to strip all the powers from the members and give it to themselves by their illegal acts. Therefore, since I'm making these things aware and bringing attention to those violations, the Constitution cannot really be enforced. However, the people have got to rise up and do something to overturn these things. And the only thing that can happen is if the people rise up on their own. Because as you can see, the leaders are not going to allow anything whatsoever for you or anybody else to say that's going to go against any of their agendas. So right now, they're continuing the efforts that they've been making over the last 2.5 years or so, except now it's worse. So it is so bad that I'll go ahead and close this out with these things. Two other things that I want to bring to your attention, which is the last thing on my list for this video. One is this. There are several cases that we've been seeing on the news showing religious leaders being arrested. I have about 4 reports now. And by reports, I don't mean of the same incident and the same people. I mean 4 reports of different institutions, different organizations, where their leaders have been arrested for similar charges. All of them religious organizations where their leaders were caught doing similar things and involving themselves in similar crimes. Now, I say that to say this. I'm going to also be talking about these cases in detail, because those cases are nothing compared to the activity, the illegal activities going on in the United House of Prayer for All People within their leadership and all the things they're doing behind the backs of the members of the organization. Security has no clue whatsoever what it is that they're guarding and securing. The elders, for the most part, have no clue what it is that they're upholding and that they're promoting. The bands and the choirs, they have no idea about the corruption and the law breaking that's being done in the back rooms of leadership. A lot of the musicians are simply traveling because they want to sing and play their instruments. And they don't truly yet understand that what they're doing gives the impression that they're in full support of the leaders. When I said this is not spiritual, I meant that the organization as a whole is not here because our Heavenly Father is seeing to it that the leader is doing his work and he's leading souls to eternal life. That is not happening. That is not happening. Everything within that false doctrine, the word speaks against. And we're going to be rehearsing this over and over and over again because Mr. Cunningham has identified himself as a God with a little g. He's identified himself as the second coming of Christ. He's done so many outlandish things and made so many outlandish statements that on the surface, these cases, they don't come near the house of prayer. United House of Prayer for All People got, woof. But lastly, let me talk about these 2 individuals. This is a young man who, on 2 days ago, he came out with this video. And I'm going to ask you all to go here, go to YouTube. And Mr. Cunningham has been telling everybody to stay off of YouTube because he don't want you all to know what's going on in the House of Prayer and the things that he's doing. But look this video up and listen to this individual's information pertaining to the House of Prayer. Okay, Pentecostal History Special. And then look at this individual. Here's another. And he just posted his video less than a day ago. Look him up also. You will see how people outside, word is spreading. Since we began December 31st, 2024, since the beginning of this year, the end of last year, putting information out pertaining to the House of Prayer, word is spreading. And people are learning about this organization, things that they never knew before. Many people didn't know the House of Prayer is still going on because it was so controversial back in the day. But with that said, check out those 2 videos. Get your accounts set up. I will come back later and let you all know information pertaining to when that meeting is going to be held. Right now, we want you all to get the accounts set up so that you can come on in whenever this information is afforded to you. Again, go to hotmail.com or the other agencies' platforms, Hotmail, Outlook, Gmail, or Yahoo. Just go to those websites. Just create a user account and make sure that you go back to video number 88, put it in the comments, I got mine, or it's done, or what have you, and we'll go from there. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.